Today, I'm going to be talking about a game called Max Payne. For starters, it was released on PC on July 23, 2001, getting Xbox and PlayStation 2 ports later. It was developed by Remedy Entertainment as well as Rockstar Studios. It's the first in a trilogy of games. I personally have never touched this series in my life prior to this video, so I won't have any nostalgia getting in the way of this. Going into this, I was pretty excited to see what all the hype was about. I've always heard that it's a really solid title, and when finding some of the best games to play from the 6th console generation, I frequently see this game near the top of those lists. Without further ado, let's answer the question, does Max Payne still hold up in 2022? New York City, 1998. Max Payne has a reasonably happy life with a loving wife and a baby. He works as a police officer. It seemed to be the American dream until one night he comes home to his baby and wife murdered by some bandits who were trying out this very cool and trendy new drug called Valkyr. Upon this happening to him, he decided to transfer to the DEA department in order to stop the spread of Valkyr. To do this, he joins one of the Italian mob groups based in NYC. Whilst trying to meet up with a good friend and fellow police officer named Alex in a subway, Alex gets assassinated right in front of Max. Max becomes the prime suspect in the murder of Alex, and rather than just getting arrested and explaining what happened to the police, he goes on the fucking lam like a stupid ass. I mean, seriously, if you were in this position, why the fuck would you try to evade the cops? Doesn't that make you just seem guilty? I don't know, Max is just a bit of a goober for doing that. Anyways, you spend the rest of the game trying to go up the chain of command of the Mafia, killing leaders as it goes on. I don't elaborate any more on the story due to spoilers, because I feel the story is solid enough to where I believe you should experience it for yourself. So the ambience in this game, it's great. I just want to start off by saying that. It's fucking great. Yeah. So I wanted to make this part of the video dedicated to the ambience of this game. From the neo-noir setting to the comic book cutscenes to the snow-capped rusted buildings, this game provides a fantastic ambiance. It makes the world feel more real, it's engaging, and I don't know, maybe I just have a sweet spot for this type of thing, but the 2001 graphics just really hit the spot to me. It's graphically probably on the same level as about like Postal 2, but it provides a certain type of art style in my eyes, just like how people really enjoy 16-bit games since it's a callback to when we really had games that could only look like that, we didn't have any other options. There are scenes in this game where Max goes back to his home with his dead wife and child, albeit in a dream sequence. During these scenes, the game turns borderline horror, with the baby crying in the background very loudly and the wife crying as well as calling for Max. And you know, I have made many dead baby jokes in my day, but I can't even bring myself to joke about the dead baby in this game. That's how good the world building is. It makes me feel as though a real baby died, so I really just can't make fun of it. All throughout the game, you can feel the ambiance of locations you are at. However, I will say they did start to get a little lazy in Part 2, where a large portion of the chapters took place in reused areas. All in all though, this game has some fantastic ambiance. This game has a very unique mechanic that is used nearly constantly throughout the entire game. This mechanic is called bullet time, which is really just a fancy way to say slow motion. When you dive or when you click a button, the game goes into slow motion. This gives the player time to line up shots and kill the enemies. It's a pretty simple mechanic today, but a pretty revolutionary mechanic of its time. It can be very satisfactory to dive around a corner and cap a poor soul instantaneously at the other side. The only complaint that I have, which is really just for bouncing, is that when I dive, it feels like it can take too long for me to get back up. It really only does that whenever I misclick and end up diving at a horrible time, but I don't like it regardless. While I have one minor complaint, the actual feeling it overall does give the game a unique feel, and it's a welcome feature. Another feature that isn't exactly unique to the game, but something I should talk about regardless, is the way that you heal. There's no auto regen, no medkits, bandages, shield potions, chug jugs. There's painkillers. You can hold 8 at a time, and they're often found through exploration, which can be pretty rewarding in that way. The painkillers actually work kind of similarly to how they work in Left 4 Dead 2. Speaking of the exploration, there are some basic little extra areas that you can find by just exploring. None of it's really groundbreaking, and there aren't going to be a whole bunch of alternate paths to take, but it's nice to have there regardless. The actual gunplay here feels reasonably alright, except sometimes it can be pretty inconsistent. I'll shoot someone with a shotgun from 50 yards away one time and they'll immediately die, and then I'll shoot someone in the chest with the same shotgun, point blank, and they won't die for 3 shots. Now please tell me one motherfucker that is going to take 3 goddamn shotgun blasts to the chest, point blank, and then proceed to still fight and move around like they just got shot with a fucking pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies. Newsflash, there isn't anyone like that. It's bullshit and it pisses me off. Other than that though, the gunplay is great! Alright, so now it's time to talk about the glitches that just plague the PC version of this game. If you're playing this game on a modern PC, get ready for an absolute fuckfest of glitches that will ruin your entire experience. The most obvious and practically guaranteed glitch is the audio glitch. For the first part of the game, I didn't hear any in-game dialogue. The comics weren't read off, and there was no music. I originally thought that's just how the game was, but over time I noticed characters in cutscenes just staring at each other blankly and figured there's no way that's intended. I did find a fix for it, however it's pretty ridiculous that it's like that without having to download a fix for it. The next glitch was equally funny as it was fucking annoying. So one of the bad guys in charge of Valkyr production, Jack Puccino, gets shot by Max and then goes to run away from him and gets his guys to kill him. During the sequence, there was a cutscene where he was supposed to jump across 2 buildings, but instead, of making it to the other side, he didn't quite make it and he fell to the ground. I walked over to the building where it happened, and sure enough, there he was, standing on the ground being fucking brain dead. I poured many bullets into him before realizing that I was wasting my time and he was fucking invincible. Continuing on in the mission, I reached a staircase where Jack was standing there just staring at the fucking wall. I tried to shoot him again. He ate the fucking bullets like a bowl of cereal. I continue down the stairs and a cutscene plays. During this cutscene, I can move, but the camera is all fucked up and I'm still getting shot at, leading me to get fucked in the ass multiple times before finally getting past it. I tried probably like 30 times before I finally made it past. This really doesn't make any sense to me, because I don't think that a 21-year-old game that runs fine on the PS2 somehow will chug along on my RTX 2070 Super. I got reasonably frequent frame drops, which just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. These are all issues that honestly break the immersion the game tries to present to you and makes me honestly not want to finish off the game. Yeah, these were pretty often occurrences. There was always like some kind of little bug, whether it be me shooting someone and it's like making a weird like computery noise or whatever. There were just a lot of little glitches throughout. So I mean, if you're gonna play it on PC, get the audio fix and strap in and hope, I guess. Yeah. I'm not here to tell anyone that they aren't allowed to like what they like. I'm not here to say that this game is straight up bad. I am simply here to give my opinion on this game. If you love this game, that's great, but I'm really not one of those people. Yes, I understand the impact it had at the time, and I understand why people are nostalgic for it, but this isn't was Max Payne good in 2001. It's does Max Payne still hold up in 2022? With that being said, while the game can be fun at times, I fucking suck ass at this. I had to save constantly after making any slight progress because I would die constantly throughout the entire game. That's probably my own fault because I'm just bad, but I think part of it is because the controls are a little clunky for me. But honestly, I don't regret playing this game at all. There were some fun parts, the ambiance is surprisingly convincing for a 2001 game, and the story is really good. So if you really want a good story and decent gameplay, go ahead and try this game out. But for me, personally, I feel that a 4 out of 10 is honestly fair. I can respect what this game did. I can respect how it's changed gaming. But in comparison to many games of today, Max Payne just doesn't quite cut it in my eyes. Plus, I've heard the second game is actually far superior, so I'll have to try that out and see. Anyways, that's going to just about do it for today. Have you enjoyed this game? Do you think it holds up? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you did like the video, pop a subscribe. Check out some of my other videos on my channel if you're interested. I post every single week on Saturdays. Last thing, I swear, I made a second channel where I post all of the raw gameplay with commentary on the games that I play, so if you're into that sort of thing, it'll be linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.